Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Tuesday, March 3rd. I am joined tonight by Pigoy at TCF Pigoy, Mitch Prentice at Mitch R. Prentice on Twitter. I am Zach Lilia. You can follow me at ZLilja, Lilja. TCF, the main page is at typical_Chicago. Instagram and Facebook, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow us on there. Wherever you go to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans, subscribe to the page. We are at 49. If you want to be our 50th subscriber, please do so. We are at 49 right now. So please go over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans, and subscribe to the YouTube page. And then wherever you get your podcast from, type in Typical Chicago Fans, subscribe, rate, review if you are on Apple Podcast. And if you are on Spotify, follow. And I think you can review on there too. And like you said, always give us a 5-star rating. We would love that. Thank you to our sponsor, The Muddy Otter. I have the beautiful The Muddy Otter mug right here with the TCF logo, Muddy Otter on the bottom. If you want to get a beautiful product just like this, unfortunately, I mean, you could always ask for the TCF logo if that's what you're looking for in your cup. But if you're looking for a product like that or woodworking from Mitch, we got you. Do you have your cup? Because remember the one time you didn't have the cup, but you have one of the beautiful cups from The Muddy Otter. So go to themuddyotter.com if you want a product just like that, or go to their Instagram or Facebook if you have some ideas for Mitch or Hannah. They're always willing to try something. Like I said, my mom got the what would you classify that as, Mitch? What my mom got?
What your mom got? Well, they're basically lidded boxes, but your mom's are specifically called dime boxes, because she said that something along the lines of whenever she or the people who received them found a dime on the street or on the ground.
Them.
Yeah, they're meant to like be in remembrance of a certain person or something like that.
My aunt used to do that, I guess, when she ever found change that she would just keep it around, so they kind of it's like a remembrance kind of thing. And
exactly.
So if, like I said, my mother or go on to the Muddy Otter's Facebook if you want to see that product, if you were looking for something like that. Or what I see the other day on the Instagram, Hannah had like it's something you could put your spices in. Or something like that. It was like right next to. I don't know what it was. Right next to. She put it in some hot water.
Oh wait, the salt cellar. The salt cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty similar to what your mom got. It's a lidded box. That one's just a lot shorter and wider. So just hold your salt, just like right next to your stove, sort of thing.
Yeah. More products like that, go to themuddyotter.com. Thank you to Mitch and Hannah Prentice. Again, that's themuddyotter.com, Instagram and Facebook, and also Score Trader. We had an event this last weekend. Mitch, do you know who won that event at all? If you were following it at all, I'm guessing.
What was it?
Bernie won.
Was it South Carolina?
Yeah, I think so.
That was Joe Biden.
Joe Biden won. Okay. So if you're looking, I don't know what the next event is.
Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday. What is that? Today, Super Tuesday. So go to Score Trader. Go to the App Store. Download Score Trader app. You can make an account for free. It's free to play. So go out there, buy and sell candidates, trade them like a stock market kind of. So if you want to do that, it's Super Tuesday. Like I said, I'm not very much into politics. Can you guys explain what Super Tuesday is?
Just a lot of states are going to be holding their
so
primaries.
I'm guessing this app is going to be going crazy tonight. It's going to be fun to do. Like I said, if you're kind of into daily fantasy sports, that kind of is what it is along the lines of that. So go to Score Trader. It's on the Apple Store. Download the app. Make an account for free. Have some fun with the politics. If you're not really into it, maybe this will kind of get you into it. And follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So again, thank you to our sponsors, Score Trader and The Muddy Otter. Like I said, we had our podcast, our first podcast, episode 64 that we've done in a while. Me and Boomy put it out yesterday. That kind of filled in for the TCF morning show on a Monday. We're back with the TCF Morning Show Tuesday. We are in March, boys. We are in March. If you are a big fan of college basketball or any kind of, it's one of the best months there is, because by the end of this month there'll also be regular season Cubs baseball. And we have March Madness, and it's the weather's starting to get nice around here. So March, I'm excited for it. I'm really ready for the weather to change, to get outside a little bit more. It's so nice how the sun isn't going down as early now. I think the later and later the sun stays up, the better my mood gets. It really, I think that's how you can kind of depend. You can kind of like figure out what Zach's mood's gonna be is when the sun goes down, because it just gets so sad when it's like 3:34 and the sun's about to go down. It's just like, oh my gosh. But we have seen the light at the end of the tunnel, boys. It is March. It's getting nice out. We got baseball. Let's get into some baseball. We had the Cubs on ESPN against the Angels today. Joe Madden versus former team, the Chicago Cubs. Before we get into any of this, I have some thoughts on what Joe Madden said. Did you guys by chance see the comments? They said a guy asked Joe Madden what some of his regrets were with the Chicago Cubs, and his biggest regret was that he did not put his restaurant downtown. Yep. That he put it in Wrigleyville, and it was just that he did not put it downtown. And I'm guessing maybe he chuckled after he said it. I don't know, but of all the things he said, I didn't like that comment much. But the Cubs and the Angels on ESPN, and they had like Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo all mic'd up today. It was kind of funny. They had Rizzo up there, and they were kind of asking him what pitch was coming. He did call the fastball, but he also went, I'm looking to hear somebody could bang and I could hear what's going on or something like that. Poking fun at the Astros, which is becoming just a joke right now. It's awesome to see the Astros getting booed left and right. But boys, what are your thoughts on the players mic'd up? I thought that it really brought some excitement to the game, a thing that baseball hasn't really seen a lot lately, an excitement for it. It maybe be tough to do during regular season games, but maybe not. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of cool to get the thoughts of the players while they're out there trying to figure out what ball is coming, how to know if it's a ball or strike. And like you said, I don't know if you guys have ever done. I think at Sluggers you can do I think can you get it up to 90 maybe on the what is that, the pitch speed pitch, and if you really look at that, like the timing on that is insane. Like to know the difference, and like we were kind of going over before with the Astros, knowing the signs and knowing what's coming, you still had to be able to hit the ball. But what were your guys' thoughts on all of yesterday's Cubs Angels action?
Well, one of the things that I'd point out about it is that when I talk to my wife about baseball, Hannah loves watching the Cubs with me. And it's one of the only sports that she really gets involved with all the time. And her reasoning for that is because in baseball, you don't have a helmet on, you don't have like these big collective huddles. You see the personality of the players a lot, and there's a lot of downtime. So there's a lot of like on-field interviews and things like that. And I think this sort of like mic'd up thing only goes to strengthen that sort of relationship that a fan can have with the player, because you're just getting more insight into what the person's like. Like when KB had his first at bat and he was just being goofy the whole time, and then he pops it up and he says, "Oh, dang it, I have to run these out every time." It's just like small things like that. Like you think that it's all so serious, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're just playing.
Or when they both had the same hat on, and they kind of said something, and he goes, "Yeah, we wear what we want."
Yeah, and it's just like they're just human beings, and I think it helps just further elaborate on that kind of like mentality of like these are just people, and it's nice to like the people you're rooting for, And that's one thing I've always appreciated about this Cubs core is they're such a respectful group, and they're very easy to like whether they're winning or losing. There's not a lot of bad eggs, if any. So I think it just goes to strengthen that fan team
But
relationship.
that kind of goes off of how spring training started, and with Chris Bryant kind of coming out with the fire that you've never seen before. We
Yeah.
always think of Chris Bryant as this quiet guy. There are
Yeah.
always those rumors that he doesn't drink, doesn't really go out, doesn't this and that. Is kind of a quiet guy, just goes about his business. But this spring training has kind of realized that he's heard what the media has to say. He's mad about it, in a sense of with the whole grievance stuff and the way it's kind of been portrayed throughout the offseason. And I'm excited to see a fired up Chris Bryant going into the regular season with a chip on his shoulder and letting the people know that he is ready to run through a brick wall, as he said.
Yeah.
I think David Ross, I was looking through some GIFs today. Sometimes I just mess around, look at some Chicago Cubs GIFs, and there was that one of the Cubs hoisting up David Ross when they won the World Series. And that just made me realize, like, the Cubs made the right choice. Like, I was kind of I was very against it, and I've said many times that I was wrong. I'm happy that they made the David Ross move because, like, they're rejuvenated and they got a guy that they trust more than probably just about anybody in baseball. Most of the guys on this team, so I'm excited. Pigoy, thoughts?
I liked the mic'd up thing. Because, like, you saw Rizzo in the box, and my favorite part of today was when he's in the box, it's like a 2-2 or a 3-2 count, and the announcers go, "What do you think he's going to throw here?" He goes, "I'm looking for a fastball because he's only thrown it one time in the last 2 at bats." So I like to see how the hitter thinks when the pitcher is like on there and and he's got a tight count, this and that. That was kind of cool. And then he hit it center field, got a single, and then I love when he trolled the Astros too. That was pretty fun. So I like the mic'd up thing. I don't know if you could do it in the regular season, but
No.
I mean, spring training was pretty fun. I mean, even like Sunday Night Baseball, you might be able to get away with it, but just to see that little wrinkle of how the players act, during spring training games is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just don't think that. I'm guessing the players would not like it in the regular season, and you can kind of see. Do they? But in the NFL, they have players mic'd up in regular season games. Maybe they'll do one player on each team, like on a Sunday Night Baseball game.
I was like, you could just stick a mic on them and be like, we might use it, we might not. So
I think that it couldn't be as drastic.
And
as
what I would
would
say is, like, you'll hear us ask you a question before we will ever put you on on the air. So that would be like. Then you would kind of know when you're on and when you can kind of talk how you would regularly talk. Ooh, that's a tough word for me to say. Yeah,
talk.
That's a tough word for Zelo on a Monday night. Like I said,
tough,
sorry
tough
to the people that think we get up at 6 a.m. every day and do a morning show. But yes, this is taped the night before, so it is still Monday. So I am trying to get through. It's actually, like I said, today's been one of the better Mondays because just the weather in general just kind of puts you in a good mood when you're not like freezing cold and you can kind of go outside. The sun turned it into a beautiful day. I think it got to about 55 around here, so I'm excited about that. Like I said, with the warm weather, it kind of makes me think of spring training. Let's get some spring train updates from the boys. I think we kind of went over this the other night, but I think we're gonna kind of keep this into like a segment that we kind of do once or twice a week as a spring train update, just to kind of go over Cubs, Sox, and all of baseball. First, let's get into the Cubs. I am excited what I see from the team. Mitch is going to get more into this, but Ian Happ had another home run today. That looked good. Kyle Hendricks was out there. John Lester looked good yesterday, which would have been Sunday. I think he went 3 innings, no runs at all. Yu Darvish, after giving up the home run the other day, like the first or second pitch, kind of settled in. I think he had 4 strikeouts. So that's kind of working on stuff. I really haven't been impressed by any relief pitchers that I can kind of keep an eye on. Adbert hasn't done very well. Like I said, you don't put much into it, but he had 2 outs, nobody on, and then turned that into a a 2-man on, then a 3-run homer. So that's just kind of something you want to see some kind of work with. Like a guy like a John Lester or Yu Darvish or even like a Kyle Hendricks, if they kind of struggle in the first little bit, then you kind of understand that they're kind of working on stuff. But we need to see more from that. Have you guys seen, is Craig Kimbrell thrown at all?
I mean,
I'm guessing not, like in a game.
I haven't seen anything, no.
I'm guessing they're just...
no. And then there's Brandon Morrow, who freaking got injured.
Oh,
I think he will be back, though.
This guy.
I think he'll be ready for the regular season. And like you said, I'm kind of to the point where we've literally given him a minor league contract. I know we've lost a lot of money kind of on him in the past, but I'm to the point where if he can be like a decent pitcher for the Cubs this year, that's just a bonus, really, at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. If they can pull anything out of him.
Yeah, if anything. If you can just get him to come in and maybe the 6th, 7th inning, maybe 8th inning throughout the season, that's just a plus, because I'm not really expecting much from him. You kind of can't with the already having an injury problem this year and having injury problems the last 2. Has it been 2 years?
At least
2 years.
Yeah, because he didn't play it all last year.
What do you guys think of the Cubs? Mitch was talking about the bench.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like thinking about it today after Souza like popped a light single into right center, and I was just thinking, I don't know. I feel like the bench is going to be in a better position this year than it was last year. I mean, if you looked at who they had available, they had like the Scout last year. They had Descalso, Caratini, Bodie. I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, they had what's his face, Tony Kemp. They had him at one point, and then
Tony Kemp.
and it was just like this hodgepodge of, it was a mess. And now, I mean, they've added older depth. Souza's coming off an injury. Kipnis is like, 35?
Yeah, he's just like an invitation, pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like their bench is going to be in a better spot this year. Honestly, the thing that has impressed the player that has impressed me the most, just pure, like, coming from not doing so well to doing better, is Albert Almora. I think Almora's had a great spring so far. And I think it's awesome to see, because honestly, last year was horrible for him. Horrible. Not only was he playing bad, but I feel like a lot of fans soured on him a lot. Kind of question his work ethic, kind of question his approach. And he's looked really solid so far this spring. And I hope it works out well, because if we could have him playing solid in center field and like batting back up in the high 200s again, that is only going to be a good thing for the Cubs. They need him to play well again. I've been happy. Baez has been great. He has been, he's looked good so far. He's been.
People forget we didn't have him for the last month of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Baez.
Yeah. With that broken wrist, that was a big miss for us.
The last month of last season, I don't remember much of. I was disgusted by much of it. But
after that big losing streak at home, like, it was almost like I was in a daze.
But yeah, Baez has looked great, and honestly, I love seeing KB's leadership. I'm excited.
I
want to see him.
I'm excited for him. I think he's really going to come into his own this year. With it's one of the off seasons for him that he's really never had in his career, where there was a lot of negativity towards him, a lot of trade rumors. Some people kind of getting on board with the trades and then kind of realizing that there was no way the trades were going to happen. The grievance finally ending. Him being with the Cubs for still another 2 years, so we'll see where. I think Chris Bryant is going to have a pretty, hopefully has a great big year. Hopefully another MVP type year. Some people forget he was an MVP. So
I know, and he's going to be.
People forget that.
Pigoy, what do you think of the Cubs? It's only been a little sample size. But I think they're playing again right now. They had 2 games today.
Yeah, they're playing.
Well, split squad.
Anyone have Marquee?
Yeah.
Anyone have Marquee?
No.
I should, because I have direct, so I should.
So you do have it. 664.
I have not verified, and I have not checked it to make sure I have it, but I should have it because I have direct TV.
They are 0-0.
But Pigoy.
I mean, Yeah, I think there's room to be excited about the Cubs this year. I think if Darvish can kind of come out and deal like he's supposed to, then he'll be good there. The pitching should be all right. And just seeing the guys out there today with the, mic'd up and having fun, and Ross giving a little commentary, and you get Rizzo and Bryant, and I mean all our guys. I think it should be a very exciting year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Like I said, anytime you get a new coach, it kind of rejuvenates the team. It gets a new, it's a different flow in spring training. So we'll see how it really goes into the regular season. The White Sox, like you said, they have an exciting spring training. A lot of expectations going in. That's why I said That's why I'm excited, because we're gonna probably move over to DirecTV. I can get NBC Sports Chicago back, so I can watch. They're on there, right? They're gonna be on there.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can watch some White Sox. It's going to be an exciting season for them. A lot of young guys coming back. Kopech, Rodon. You're going to have Tim Anderson, reigning batting champion. I mean,
Moncada's always have a good year.
Yeah, you got Abreu over there. That's just, if you've seen that video that came out at the beginning of the year of Eloy saying that Abreu is just the leadership that he showed, I think this team is going to be something to I think that they can win a division. Let's just say that. I think they can win a division. And last night, I went on record. I don't know if you guys heard. I went on record and said the White Sox will win a division this decade. That's what I'm just going out there. They will win a division.
Well, I don't think that's not the hottest take ever. I mean,
Mitch,
I think
Mitch, what I'm saying is, if you're a White Sox fan, you think that I ever bash you, watch this video back. I said you will win a division this decade. How nice of that. That's the nicest thing I could say.
I mean, that would be an absolute shock if they didn't. How they've built this so far, if they don't.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm being goofy. I'm being goofy.
It's not a hot take. It's not a hot take, but when it comes from Zach, it's like,
I'm being
okay,
nice.
that's a take.
But
no, I get it.
I think that go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think they're going to win it this year.
They could. I think Minnesota will regress. There's no way that they can't. Like, they're not going to hit that many home runs this year. They kind of showed who they kind of maybe really are when the playoffs last year, when they got swept right out of the playoffs. Yeah, they got swept, right?
Yeah, they got their butts.
Is that when they had the Uber driver pitching?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Royals
stink.
They're probably a 60-win
stink.
Team. Tigers
stink.
70-win team, 65-win
Indians.
team.
Indians will be all right.
You never know. I would honestly say they're the biggest wild card is the Indians. I never know what you're going to get with them.
But they just traded Kluber.
I mean, I think the Twins are going to regress this year quite a bit. I think the AL Central is going to be a lot like the NL Central was last year, where you have a lot of middling teams up until maybe September, and I think the White Sox are going to edge it just a little bit. So it's like maybe by a game.
It'll be an exciting summer in Chicago for both sides of town. Baseball will be hopefully we got beautiful weather and just a lot of exciting baseball going on in Chicago.
I just want to see the Cubs back at Wrigley, man.
Upcoming season.
I'm sick of Sloan Park.
What?
I said I just want to see those Cubs back in Wrigley.
And Wrigley is so beautiful. It's just like I need the Cubs back at Wrigley right now.
Were there more they're doing the full netting this year, aren't they?
Yes.
That's going to be weird for the first year. I don't know if it's going to really be visible from the TV view, but that'll be interesting.
It's a good idea. It's a very good idea, I think.
It is. I mean, I
think every team should. It's just like, why not?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were in no position. I mean, if they didn't do that, they would have gotten so much crap about that.
You got to.
That was really bad.
You got to.
And it's unfortunate.
Yes, it's very unfortunate. You guys, anything else throughout baseball? Yeah, the Astros stuff. They're getting booed left and right. I love it. They said the Astros Shame Tour on Twitter, 2020 Shame Tour is one of the best follows on Twitter right now. They deserve everything they're getting. If you get mad about us booing the Astros, then that's the least of their worries right now. They have a season full of probably getting hit by a lot of pitches, a lot of boos, a lot of garbage cans. a lot of noise being made while they are trying to hit the baseball and do their job. So I'm excited.
Did you see what? Did you hear the comment that Jim Deshaies said about them?
Mm-mm.
You know. What I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about,
know.
right? The
Yep.
one. Yeah. He said. He said it was like a small quip, but he said, if I had any advice for the Astros players, it would be to put in earplugs while you're up at bat because you wouldn't hear all the taunting. But then I guess they couldn't hear the trash cans.
That's a good one.
That's good. That's a good
That's
one.
a good one.
Uh,
I'm
every once in a while.
I can't wait for just like the entire year is going to be just like that every game. It's going to
Every
be
game.
so awesome to watch. It's going to be so awesome
Because-
to watch. Every game, everybody just shitting
I
on
mean,
the
they're
Astros.
getting booed at
Is it
random
Bucks play
spring
them?
training games where, like, you'll get a lot of fans of the team, but, like, there's also just random people that are probably booing. Like, when you go to
Right.
a Yankee Stadium or, like, a Fenway Park or, like, places like that, it's just
Oh,
going to
man.
be
Mhm.
insane.
Ruthless.
And I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Do the Cubs play the Astros?
I don't
they
think
do.
so. Speaking of the David Ross hire, too, if we would have who was the other hire?
I know it was the Astros guy.
The bench coach,
I
like
know.
that would have just brought so many problems to the Cubs, and like maybe had
I
to
know, I
fire
was
him
thinking the
without him even like
thing.
coaching a game. So I'm just
I
another
know.
reason why
I
I'm
was-
very happy
yeah.
that we just hired David Ross.
I was
Nothing really
about to
much
ask you.
going on in baseball. Like I said, you don't really get too much of a vibe through spring training. You don't really know what's going on. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see what like a Nico Horner can do this year. See if Ian Happ and Almora can finally take that next step and consistently play well throughout a season, not having to go down to the minors and try and fix things. Try and have if they can have what expectations are, just have a decent season, stay consistent, hit well, and just
The Cubs
be a
in
nice
general
backup
or
for the
more of?
Cubs. And I think that will help the Cubs way more than people think. Like, just them having consistent hitting from the backups. And you already know Almora is good at defense. You know Ian Happ's always going to try his butt off out there to play defense. That's what you need. And if the offense can be there, that's a big plus for the Cubs that people are overlooking.
Listen, two things for the Cubs, two things for the Cubs will win them the division. Kimbrel being a consistently good
Which I think can
closer,
happen because
Correct.
they have a full offseason with the Cubs and a full spring training.
and KB being productive in the leadoff spot.
I said,
I think those.
I wouldn't say I've wanted Chris Bryant in the leadoff spot, but I don't get why he never got a chance. Like, why have we
I don't
never
hate it.
tried?
I really
Why have we
don't.
never tried this? I don't know why Joe Madden was so against him being the leadoff hitter. Like, we tried Rizzo for so long, and yes, he was at one point, a great leadoff hitter, whatever. But I think that Chris Bryant could be this team's leadoff hitter for a while.
I love it. I'm all for it. I think he's a very smart base runner. He's way faster than credit for, and he's consistent. I'm all for it, and I really and the Bulls won.
Did they?
And the Bulls.
Did they? Dang it! Darn it! I mean, yay! Sorry. Yes. Good. So happy.
Yeah, go Bulls.
I didn't bet against
No.
them at all. I would never do that. Where were we?
We're talking about Chris Bryant in the leadoff spot. Love it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Big time. And I'm just happy to have, like, I think that I've joked about this, but like we already have more consistency at like our leadoff spot than we've had since like with the Cubs since like Dexter Fowler, pretty much. Like, we know leadoff, like the leadoff hitter is most likely going to be probably Chris Bryant throughout the first month when he's playing. You would think that they're going to try and make it as least consistent as possible because that's what we need. We need more consistency. I like the moves that Joe Madden used to make, but I think he like overthought it maybe a little bit sometimes.
I'm right there with you.
But
I hated how much, like, day in and day out, there would be a new lineup, somebody in a different spot. I hated it. That happened a lot last
I
year.
was not a fan.
And I don't know. To me, I feel like the players would just get irritated by that, but I don't know.
Yeah, like what was it? He always used to have the lineup usually made out throughout like a 3-game series on before the first game even started. So that it's nice to know, but it's also nice to like be able to have a little bit of a change. Like if you see something guy played well the game before, maybe putting him in the lineup the morning of or something like that. Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Baseball is here, like you said. March is here, so we will have regular season baseball before the end of March, which is very exciting. I will be at the Cubs opening day in Milwaukee. I'm very excited.
Oh, that's
Nice.
exciting.
I'm very excited about that. We always say it is Wrigley Field North. Is that what we would call it?
Yep.
Yeah, Wrigley North. Yeah.
But I do like the tailgate scene there. It's a nice giant parking lot, which is I always love a good tailgate. So that'll be exciting. I think it's a Thursday. I think it's like March 26th. Does that sound right? I don't know. If that's right, that's a hell of a guess by me.
25.
25. Dang it, so close.
Hell of a guess.
I
though.
wish
Hell of a guess.
the only thing I wish they would do is they would play back-to-back first games. Like, I would have been nice to have been able to go to Milwaukee, go to that Thursday game, stay the night, and then go to that Friday game. But they have to have that next day off. It kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
Let's get it, like I kind of said with the Bulls. Boylan is bad at calling timeouts. He is horrible at calling
Correct.
timeouts. It's unbelievable
Facts only.
how bad he is at calling timeouts. Like, what is he doing? Like,
Well, they said that they asked him after one game, and he said that he likes to draw up plays that he likes to practice when they're in like those final 3 minutes and they're in garbage time and they've already lost. He said he likes to draw up plays for them to try. I think it's stupid. I think he just doesn't know what he's doing.
he doesn't. Like, tonight's game. Yes, they won on somehow. I don't know how. But he had one where Thomas Sadaransky was cutting to the basket, had a wide open layup, and for some reason calls the timeout. He makes the layup, but they had to call it off because they're like, "Did you just call that timeout for real? Like, what are you doing?" So,
Right.
Teachable moments.
what? Oh yeah,
Teachable moments.
don't ever forget about the teachable moments. Like,
He wants to just coach his guys. That's all he wants to do is he wants to coach his guys regardless of the
that's
situation.
what he's always here for. The improvement
Needs
of
to
the
go
guys.
away.
What did you say, Kobe White? He played well tonight. He's 13.
Yeah.
Maybe he played 20,
I think he got
Wow.
19.
19. Let's go. He's playing well as of late. But I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't get hyped up for
19.
any of these games with the Bulls right now. It's just, I just can't. I know
This was
there's nothing good
This was Levine.
good
yeah.
coming from this.
This was Levine's first game off.
Was he hurt?
That's what they said. I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't play a single dang minute, and they won.
And they won. They beat a good Dallas team with Luka in the lineup. I don't know if Porzingis played tonight. I don't think he did. I did not think I saw him playing tonight.
No,
But yeah, Jim Boylan.
Luka put up 23.
He put up what?
Luka put up 23 points.
Yeah, not bad. It seemed like he had a lot of. I think he had 2 turnovers on offense. I saw one time. It was just kind of a weird night, probably in Chicago. I don't know how they lost. Unbelievable. But also, darn it. I'm so mad the Bulls lost.
Tank for Zion.
Yeah. Let's get into a little college basketball with our guy Kyle Haggerty. He's going to tell us all about college basketball. He said, it is March. We are in the month of March. March Madness.
This is March.
It is March. We are excited. March Madness is going to be a great time. Matt actually texted me today about our plans. I will be staying at his house Thursday and Friday, the first rounds of the playoffs. And Mitch, if you didn't know, Matt has I think, 2-year-old child.
Yes.
2-year-old child, married, and I will be sleeping in his basement in a fort. A fort in his basement for the first the first 2 days of March Madness. It's going to be some fun content. But like I said, it is March. Let's get into the talk. This is Kyle Haggerty with some college basketball.
Hey, Zach, thanks for having me on again, and welcome to Conference Tournament Weekend. It's officially March, and March Madness is upon us. big things coming up this week. We're going to start to figure out some standings and league titles. We got some big games in the Big East, some big games in the Big 12 with Kansas, Texas Tech. Kansas now the unanimous number 1 seed, the new AP Top 25 poll. Very exciting. Congratulations to Bill Self and the Jayhawks. But more importantly, we got conference tournaments starting up this week. The big ones being the Mountain West tournament. So we should find out where San Diego State fits, who is a 1 seed in the East, and Jerry Palm's newest bracket. We'll get into bracket talk a little bit here in a minute. But first, let's talk about the conference tournaments we have coming on here soon. So, like I said, we got the Mountain West with San Diego State, and we also have the West Coast Conference starting up on Wednesday. So we'll find out a little bit about Gonzaga and where they stand. Gonzaga currently now the 3 seed, or a 1 seed, but the 3rd overall in the tournament. They got them in the West bracket out in Los Angeles. I don't expect anything less of that, even if they were to lose in the championship game like they did last year. Potentially finish the year like a 29-3, 30-3 type deal. I think that'd be just fine for Mark Few and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. But let's talk about what we're going to see here. So this week, we don't really have a lot of big bubble type games for teams like that. I think you'd have to see if you were to go into the West Coast Conference, or let's go in the Mountain West right now. You could potentially see a Utah State sneak in, maybe a Nevada, but those teams I think would have to actually win the tournament to get in. I don't see them getting in otherwise. Moving on to the West Coast Conference, I think you're going to see likely similar situation there. You'd have to see. I think we'll probably get BYU in with wins that they've had recently. They're currently sitting as a 5 seed in the Midwest in Palm's bracket. We also got St. Mary's, who last I saw they were. Let's see here. They were an 8 seed in the last bracketology per CBS Sports. So no real big surprises there. Your next tier of teams, Pacific, San Francisco, those are teams that are going to have to win the tournament, the West Coast Conference tournament to get in. Otherwise, you're not going to see any real big surprises there. It seems like BYU and St. Mary's have safely secured a spot moving forward. But let's talk about the bracket a little bit. So in the newest bracket, we had some changes going around that got updated March 2nd, 9 a.m., and our last 4 in now have turned to Texas Tech. With recent losses they have taken, the big one, the Texas, and that moving Texas in. So that's pretty interesting there. So the last 4 in, we got Texas Tech, Utah State, Texas, and Richmond. The real big surprise there is Texas. If Texas were to make it in as of today, they're sitting at 75 overall as the net. That would be the lowest net or RPI rating for a team to make the tournament ever. So very, very interesting development going out there in the Pac-12 down in Austin for Shaka Smart and the Texas Longhorns. We'll have to see what else going forward with that. The first 4 out, Mississippi State, Cincinnati, Rhode Island, and Arkansas. Those are your next 4 out. Again, the big surprise there is Rhode Island. If tournament were to start up Sunday, I would have to put in Rhode Island ahead of Texas. But like I said, a lot more to come out of that, and a lot of it depends on how these teams do in their conference tournaments. Big games this week. We got Villanova and Georgetown. Georgetown doesn't want to declare their season a complete failure yet, but they're not looking good. Baylor's going to play West Virginia. West Virginia needs to get on the right track. They've now fallen 3 games in a row and not looking good for them. They are a 6th seed in the latest bracket in the South, playing a UCLA team. UCLA playing good of late. Mick Cronin's got that UCLA Bruin program in the right direction, trending forward. They were not good early on in the year, but it's good to see them back. I believe college basketball is best when UCLA is good. So hopefully they keep doing the winning some games, and hopefully you see them in the tournament in a couple weeks. North Carolina Duke. I think we all remember how the last game ended. Double overtime thriller. Duke ended up pulling off the victory. North Carolina does have Cole Anthony back, so we hope to see them do well. And then Stanford, Oregon, out in the Pac-12. That's Saturday. As for Sunday big games, we got March 8th. We got Michigan and Maryland. That should determine if Maryland wins the game and they end up as outright champions for the Big Ten. We also have Iowa and Illinois. Illinois has to see Ohio State this week also. They're tied for second. Michigan State plays Ohio State Sunday. Michigan State also tied for second in the Big Ten. It's going to be real interesting to see how that works out. We could potentially see a three-way tie between Michigan State, Illinois, and Maryland. That would be an absolute mess in my opinion, but like I said, a lot more has got to sort itself out in the Big Ten. Let's move on to talk about the bracket a little bit. Like I said, so Palm's latest bracket came out March 2nd, and the big notes, he has Texas in, UCLA in, and Richmond in, and Rhode Island out. I just don't see that happening with Rhode Island. Rhode Island's sitting at 20-8. They're 43 in net. In my opinion, that's enough to get in, but they will have plenty of opportunities with the A10 tournament coming up. Another big note, he has Illinois as a 6 seed. Illinois just recently got ranked at 23, so a 6 seed. That's probably about right for them. I've also seen Lunardi's bracket has Illinois as an 8 seed playing 9 Virginia. Now, Virginia had the big win over Duke the other night, and he's got Virginia as a 10 seed playing 7 seed Colorado in the South. Now, I project Virginia to move up as they keep winning and with the big wins they have. He also has Indiana in right now as a 10 seed. This is a team that has not been playing great as of late. They're sitting 18-11. They have got some big quad one wins, though, Florida State most notably. And, of course, their big wins they've had in conference in the Big Ten. Michigan fell a little bit to 7. Right now they have them as a 7 seed playing 10 seed Wichita State in Midwest. Wichita State has not been great. They've faltered a little bit as of late. They're going to have to pick up some wins so they do not find themselves on the wrong side of the bubble. And finally, Providence. Providence with another big win this weekend over Villanova. Providence playing good ball. They have the young guard in Pipkins who scored another 20 points this week. He's a tough player to match up with. Providence it will be a problem for anyone who sees them come March. So, guys, again, thanks for having me on. I expect to talk to you a lot more this week moving forward. And welcome to Conference Week. We're going to have a lot of fun, hopefully win a lot of money. And thanks again.
Thank you very much, Kyle. That is Kyle Haggerty. He is my brother-in-law's cousin and also great at talking basketball, knows a lot about basketball. A basketball savant, a college basketball savant. Did I use that word right, boys?
He sounds very much like one.
Let's go.
He really
Let's
does.
Go. Z-Lil, big words.
Very, very articulate, knows his stuff.
The month of March is the month of Z-Lil's big words.
I cannot wait for the Z-Lil Matt
That is
slumber
going to be
party.
unbelievable. He texted me. I kind of forgot about it.
I can't
I'm like,
wait for the slumber
I'm like,
party.
whoa, I forgot about that. That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm very excited about it. The first 2 days are the best days ever, so I'm excited about that. And we will be, like I said, in Matt's basement. And I'll be
just camping out in some guy's basement with a 2-year-old kid.
Not some guy. Our guy Matt.
No, he's our guy. But
I'm just messing.
Yeah, you're just camping out, having a good time, watching a bunch of hoops.
It'll be fun. Anything post-show, boys?
Wendy's breakfast?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Mitch, we'll have to get a review from you from the first time you can get your hands on some Wendy's breakfast. We'll have to get a little review from you.
Yeah. Are you guys breakfast boys? You guys like breakfast?
I'm not a big. I'm not a big fan of breakfast.
I love breakfast.
I have become more. When I was younger, I didn't like it at all. But when I started working a job where I, have to be in the office at like 8:30, I first developed a coffee love when I was in college, senior year.
I love coffee. I do love coffee.
Yeah, so do I, man. And then I like breakfast if I can. I like it if I can sit down and make it and enjoy it. I don't really like it on the go. Because I feel like once you get into the to-go kind of breakfast, and you're getting into like the really cheesy stuff, and you kind of feel crappy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to start my day off like that. But if I can sit down and like make myself a good one, there's nothing.
Don't
better.
overdo it.
Definitely start off light and start off right.
Well, little piece of breakfast pizza goes a long way.
That's the motto.
I agree.
That's the motto, Mitch.
Get everything you need. That's put it on a shirt.
Sure. Anything else, boys? Oh,
Um,
Pigoy had the winner of was it the Saudi Cup?
the Saudi Cup. Yeah.
That horse, I forgot that horse raced still. Like, after being disqualified.
Well, right, yeah. So he won, quote unquote, the Kentucky Derby, and then he got scratched because he got DQ'd, and then didn't race in the Belmont or the Preakness, and then he raced like a couple other times before the end of the
and
year.
then went over to the $20 million race and won it.
Yeah, I went over the $20 million and just won a bunch of money.
That's almost like hustling. Like, that's just waiting, and then it's like, here we go, we're gonna win all that money.
It's like everything I read about this race and that horse, and like, this guy's just got so much more left in the tank because he hasn't raced like a big race in a while. Like, he hadn't ran a race since December like 7th or 8th, and now it's March, and he just goes out and just wins. Like,
I was very pumped because I also bet on the horse, so we all won money on, was it Saturday?
Saturday about noon.
Yeah, well, what time was that in Saudi Arabia?
I have no idea.
What time?
What is the time difference between Chicago and Saudi Arabia?
What time is it right now? It is 9:40 p.m. Central Time. What time is it in Saudi Arabia?
It is 6:40 a.m. So 9-hour difference.
And they're ahead of us, right?
9 hours ahead.
Okay.
I should have thought
8?
about that before I said that. So, now we know. That race was 9 hours ahead. So it was actually 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, about.
Pigoy,
because it was dark.
the horse betting guru.
Hey,
When's the next big race?
Another winner.
I guess
So
the next race is the next big race.
Well, right, because you're gonna have.
No,
like,
I mean like the next Twin Spiders race is the next
the
big
next
race.
every race is a big race if you're betting on it.
Let's say the Kentucky Derby is not too far off.
No, but you've got a lot of these Grade 1 derbies coming up to the Kentucky Derby, like the qualifying races. So you're going to have the Florida Derby, Louisiana Derby, Arkansas Derby. You're going to have a lot of these big-ish races leading up to the Kentucky Derby. So spring's a good time to bet horses because there's a lot of action going on.
Love it. Well, thank you to our sponsors, The Muddy Otter. Go to themuddy.otter.com if you want a beautiful mug, just like this one, with the TCF logo. Like I said, if you want the TCF logo, I think maybe they do it for you. It'd be kind of cool. But also they also have them without, if you would like that. So go to themuddy.otter.com and hit them up on Instagram and Facebook. Also, thank you to Score Trader. Go to the App Store, download the Score Trader app. We got Super Tuesday tonight, so go on there and make an account for free, play for free. Get Score Trader to the App Store, play for free, download for free. Everything is free on the app. And follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you to Pigoy at TCF Pigoy and Mitch Prentice at Mitch R. Prentice for joining me tonight. And I am Zach Lilia at ZLilia, Lilja. TCF, the main page is at typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow us on there. YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Subscribe to the page. We are at 49. Be our 50th subscriber, please. So go on to there and type in Typical. Go to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Subscribe. Please be the 50th. Subscriber for the Typical Chicago Fan page. Also, wherever you get your podcast from, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll find us on there. If it's Apple, subscribe, rate, review, unsubscribe, resubscribe, give us a 5-star rating. And then if you go to Spotify, follow us on there and give us a review. And then if you have anywhere else, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. Do what you got to do. Boys, any last thoughts? Nothing.
Go Cubs, fire Stan, fire Boylan, fire
Garpax.
or Garpax, yeah.
Let's get this base.
I concur.
Let's get this baseball season going, so Chicago has something to
Yes.
look
Can
forward
can
to.
it can it be baseball already? Because everything else sucks.
This has been
Agreed.
the TCF Morning Show, Tuesday, March 3rd. We love you all.
Peace.
Bye-bye.